Hold on. Actually, let's do that again. My mistake. Yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka Why He Hip Without the Hip Though, aka aka Who Let All These Peaches in the House, aka Let me give you that knee. I'm gonna just leave it there. Uh, bringing you yet another episode of Switch It Sites. Sorry, I had to restart because I wasn't. I at least thankfully realized immediately I wasn't recording MP3. So I was like, let me rewind it back, and do that. So today's date is January 15th, 2021. Recording this super duper late. Like I said, like I already told you, it's the Midnight Hours edition. Oh yeah. This is the Midnight Hour edition. I hope you're ready. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make that weird. I'm so sorry. Um yeah. Episode I had to check it. 87. We getting up there, man. The consistency is staying, which I'm very personally proud of. So man, not sure where I'll go from here. Well, I mean, world wise, yeah, we're still from the craziness that happened last weekend, and then just boy, I don't even feel like talking about it. Just how fucking crazy it is. So I'm not. How surreal and crazy it is. So, and you know what? I forgot. Get my tabs up. Let me do that. Let me do that. Cause what is this show without bringing up my topics to discuss and talk about? Okay, so fairly interesting week this week, I'd say, in the gaming world. Some interesting little tidbits. Tidbits. Oh boy, I'm not drunk, I promise. Um, Interesting tidbits that that happened this week. So, um, yeah, you know what? Without further ado, let's stop the dilly dallying and get right into it. So, first topic of discussion: Square Enix. You gotta say it like that. Square Enix trademarks Ever Crisis, The First Soldier, and Shinra logo in Japan. So, those that don't know, who aren't Final Fantasy fans, this definitely hugely hints at, I'd say, a couple characters. I guess for most people in the gaming realm that may are most likely familiar, I believe First Soldier generally refers to Sephiroth. Sephiroth. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Sephiroth. Set me, bro. Okay, sorry, I had to get that out. Had to get that out the system. Um, and Ever Crisis, I think they're all around Crisis. At least specifically, the game I played before. I played again before playing Final Fantasy VII Remake before that came out, and I am very, very, very glad I did because boy, is there a lot of, without spoiling anything, there is a lot of references heavily that refers to Crisis Core for sure. So I'm gonna leave it at that without spoiling anything. But man, there is a lot. It definitely pays off to play to have played Crisis Core before playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say there. So, but yeah. So this definitely refers to a lot of those IPs, at least specifically in the Final Fantasy VII realm. So it's just curious where this could go because I mean, I don't think it would be a Final Fantasy VII remake sequel. I think it would likely be a it will likely be maybe some Crisis collection or something that maybe compiles all of the like Final Fantasy VII's side games and stuff like Dirge of Cerberus, maybe, maybe not. Considering the reception of that game, at least from what I've heard, I haven't played it myself to attest to that specifically. But an interesting tidbit from Rotobit on of Nintendo Wire in the Reset Era thread that the weird order. So in terms of all these titles, so Advent Children, Before Crisis, I think that was like a very niche cell phone game that had a lot of story after before even Crisis Core. So it was like a prequel to Crisis Core, which was a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, which is kind of crazy. So before Crisis, of course, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, and then Ever Crisis. So they weirdly have a uniform numbering A, B, C, D, E, which is very interesting. Um, but First Soldier is a little weird since that doesn't necessarily fit, but it's very weird. A C B C C C D C E C. It's weird. I mean, you could get your put your tinfoil hats on and start speculating like crazy on that. But very interested. It seems, I believe, Nomura, who is known for, you know, the very. Actually, let's look these up. Let's be accurate with these. I don't want to spoil what I'm gonna do. Don't want to spoil. So you got the ever loving great titles, standout titles like Kingdom Hearts 358 by 2, or the title I like, Kingdom Hearts 358 divided by 2 days. um Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, which is just I don't know. It's something about when game developers embrace a console's titling too much. Something about that bothers me for some reason. It just feels kind of disingenuous, if you will, where it's like it feels it feels too gimmicky for me personally. I mean, in some cases, some rare instances, it does gel together and flow together, but in a lot of instances, I don't think so. But I digress. Um, it was some really sadistic stuff going on. Was that really it? There was some really weird titling. Maybe I'm thinking about some anime fighting game I'm thinking of. So never mind. Thought I was gonna go somewhere where really substantial, and I did not. But you know what? That's the flow. That's the the ebb and flow of this show. So fuck it. um, yeah. So pretty interesting. I'm definitely excited for whatever. Well, I guess it kind of depends on what this is. Ever Crisis. I don't think it's the next Final Fantasy 7. Maybe it could be a subtitle. I doubt it though. But I mean, they claimed they're gonna be really quick with pushing out, reasonably pushing out Final Fantasy 7. The next part, since the first one didn't technically end, um, remake the whole game. So yeah, I think it's definitely got to be some spin-off. That's what I'm thinking. There's got to be some side spin-off thing. Maybe like specifically exclusively for the Nintendo Switch or something. That'd be pretty dope if they like put all of Crisis, like Crisis Core for the Switch and PS4. I can see it. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but it's definitely gotta. It's highly likely it's gotta include Zach or Sephiroth to some extent. I would assume, or the aftermath of that. Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting though. But these trademarks were registered, so at the same time, it could be a long time till we hear anything about this. But I think it's definitely worth bringing up, discussing. You know, so moving on. Um, and just like some very unexpected news, not the highest of unexpectancy, but pretty much fairly up there. Lucasfilm Games announced. They actually announced multiple things. Actually, I guess the biggest takeaway though was that they seem to be no longer exclusive to EA anymore, which is I think good because EA is EA. I think that should go without saying. I think a lot of people are aware of their reputation nowadays, so you know. So just to quote this comment from their article, StarWars.com, announcing this. In terms of Lucasfilm Games, which I think is new. I don't think Lucasfilm Games hasn't been a thing yet. I think it was just Lucas Arts was generally the the studio around a lot of Star Wars related games and stuff like that. So continuing the relationship that resulted in the reinvigorated Battlefront series, the critically acclaimed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and multiplayer hit Star Wars Squadrons, Electronic Arts will too play a big role in the future of Star Wars gaming. We're really proud of the games we have created with EA, Riley says. We will continue working with them, and our relationship has never been stronger. While we may not have a lot of details to share at the moment, we've got a number of projects underway with the talented teams at EA. I don't know why I got Grizzly there, but you know what? It works. Oh, might have been a throw. So yeah. So in line of that, um, they announced a big open world game specifically with Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment. So I don't think there's a lot of details, but this is supposed to be a fairly ambitious open world Star Wars game. So this, and wow, this is technically the first time that a company outside of EA has produced a Star Wars game since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012. So ending nearly 8 years of exclusivity. And oh yeah, they're also doing a new Indiana Jones game, which also falls under the umbrella of Lucasfilm Games. So, oh yeah, and that's gonna be produced by developed by Bethesda Game Studios. So maybe possibly that might have some title exclusivity. Maybe another feather on the cap of Xbox. Kind of maybe similar, I guess, if we can tie something close to it, like similar to Spider-Man to some extent, which would be pretty cool. Licensed game that's exclusive, at least more than likely console exclusive to the Xbox or something like that. So that's crazy, man. That's kind of surreal. Yeah, I've always associated Star Wars games with EA, and now that they're no longer, or at least exclusive, at least, that's pretty dope. I feel like with a lot of these various IPs and stuff, my interest in Star Wars has been increasing. I've surprisingly like went to the premiere of all the new trilogies that came out recently. Well, recently, relatively in Star Wars, I guess Star Wars time, but um, this is cool though. I'm not sure if I would. It depends. I have to see that trailer. What am I going to be doing open world wise? Are we talking MMO stuff? We talk about Grand Theft Auto. Let me steal your speed bike, bitch, or something like that. That would be kind of cool though. I'm not gonna lie. Um. So yeah, and then I think Todd Howard with that one game for Bethesda. I think he is, yeah, executive producing that. So it's legit. That's legit. So that's pretty crazy. I think that's probably the most unexpected thing that's definitely happened, at least for this week for sure. Definitely is one award of most unexpected news. Most unexpected. Moving on. So you heard about that? Heard about this small company called CD Projekt Red? I mean, it might have made this little game called Cyberpunk 2077. Well, have no fear, they are here again. Actually, I believe the director of Cyberpunk 2077, he they basically made a YouTube video statement regarding, I'm sorry, we've heard you. Guys, we've heard you. We will do better. We have not justified the money we've taken from your wallet that much. So, what we will do is promise that we will do better, and hopefully we will, because we are not kind of sure. So, yeah. Um, interesting. Interesting. I did see the video. I mean, it at this point, I think it's really a matter of like actions speak louder than words. At this point, you could talk somebody's ear off, but if you still doing the same actions, it's just not really going to add up. You know, um, there's some disconnect there, and I think in our current environment these days, people see right through that, and especially including the extended transparency of games media specifically. Um, yeah, it's just people see right through that and how everything is so immediately communicated and translated and stuff like that. Yeah, at this point they just gotta back up these words claims by actions. some weird claims they made about like uh procedure of getting review copies out where it was pretty much just the PC version, and then the console versions of surprisingly came out super late after the game released, so people could buy the game first and then have outrage after, but only until after the games were purchased without having a educated opinion on, at least for a lot of people who more than likely were PS4 users, base PS4 users, base Xbox One users, God forbid, um, that not knowing what they were getting into and basically being screwed and set up to an extent. And that was the other thing too in the video. They seem to downplay a lot of the discrepancy with the Xbox One and base Xbox One and PS4 versions, where they made it seem like we tested it and it ran just fine for us. It was pretty good. I'm not sure why it happened where the game was absolutely terrible for base PS4 Xbox One users. And then on top of that, he was also kind of throwing shade at basically I guess technically throwing shade at themselves for basically, how do I say it? Trying to appease the PS4 and Xbox One base market, where it made it seem like basically the development for the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game were was holding back the overall development of the game. So, but then it's like at that point, just wait for next gen. Well, I mean, all in all, obviously for all this, pretty much the game wasn't ready, and they should have just waited, delayed it again, indefinitely or whatever. I think I for sure, this is a prime example for sure. I'd rather have a delay than to, have something that's super unfinished and overall detract from my experience from the game. So that's at least how I feel about it. Just disappointed, you know. It's like something that could have really blew my mind, but it didn't really. A little tad disappointed, but again, I mean, it didn't feel necessarily like critical pathing, but I did get to the point where you're like, let me just finish the main story, because I was just so bummed out by just a consistent amount of bugs I got that were to the point where they were just annoying and very much detracting from my experience from the game. So I'll more than likely revisit a couple of, well, at least, I don't know, more than likely word of mouth will probably get me back in, see if like, like, hey, did they fix it yet? All right, now just leave and then come back. Hey, did they fix it yet? All right, okay. So yeah, so at this point they got to prove the actions, but at least in terms of somewhat trying to create some accountability or something like that, they did display a roadmap or give us a roadmap, disclose a roadmap to us regarding their plans. So they're basically going to have 3 patches for between. Oh no, okay. So they mentioned the patches before the new year this year, and then after that they're going to have a patch 1.1, 1.2, and then they just have this very vague window of free DLCs, free next gen console update till 2022. So, I mean, that's better than nothing. They give us something. So hopefully those first two patches will be beefy, and That'll be the biggest question. Like, what will they do? Will the PS4 and Xbox One versions be saved? Who knows? I don't know. They I think they shot themselves in the foot by developing for the base consoles. Even though at the same time, considering this game was announced like in 2012. It's 2021. That's kind of surreal now that I think about it. They announced the game in 2021. I mean 2012, and now it's 2021. And all this mess is happening. Well, I guess it didn't technically release in 2021, but for most people, it probably did because of how horrible it was at launch, and even PC. I mean, a lot of people are ranting and raving about PC, but to be honest, I mean, a lot of stuff I ran into was just pure, just annoying enough where it's like it was literally fighting me. It was literally fighting me to play the game. I was like fighting like a test of attrition if I wanted to play the game, which that's never a fun experience. I can only imagine for people that I don't know. Maybe do that. I don't know. It's horrible. Anyway, moving on. In some very juicy rumor news. Well, I guess rumor, but not necessarily news. But it kind of somewhat go hand in hand. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl rumored to begin remakes and coming this year for the Nintendo Switch. So I think a lot of people saw this coming. I thought the more popular option was going to be black and white, but I think if you look at the release cadence, it may kind of line up. I think just to get a better idea of the timeline. Video games. So yeah, just looking back at the generations, of course, we got the original OG Pokemon's red and blue in the US, green, red and green in Japan, and then yellow came a while after that. Then we had, so that's considered Gen 1, Gen 2, Pokemon Gold and Silver, Pokemon Crystal, Gen 2. Then Gen 3, Pokemon Ruby Sapphire, Fire Red Leaf Green, Pokemon Emerald. Personally, from the Pokemon games I've played not that many, to be honest. Mainly, I've pretty much after Gen 3 is when I fell off. But probably I'd say I really like Gold and Silver. Those were probably my jams. I was a gold boy. I had to get that gold. So they did remake Gold and Silver for the DS, I believe. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But sticking to the timeline, Ruby Sapphire for Gen 3, Fire Red Leaf Green, and Pokemon Emerald. And then Generation 4, this is with the DS. Diamond and Pearl. So, yeah, so that was the DS. Pokemon Platinum, Pokemon Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. So that is the remake of Gold and Silver. And then Generation 5, which was still in the DS. Pokemon Black and White and Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. That is kind of a weird name, but I feel like, well, at least if that game came out in this time zone, it'd be like, which one you pick? Like, I pick white. I'm like, what you trying to say? Why you pick white and you could have picked black? Is it something you're trying to tell us? I doubt that ever happened during that time frame, but that's kind of funny. I'm pretty sure somebody made that joke to some extent, but I digress. Black and white, black 2, white 2. And then Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Omega Ruby on Alpha Sapphire. I forgot they remade that. You need to check that out. It's a lot of these Pokemon I do want to catch up on. Sun and Moon, Ultra Suns, Ultra Moon, Generation 6 or 7? 7. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and then Gen 8, Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is the latest Pokemon. So, Diamond, Glistening Diamond, and Shining Pearl. That, I mean, Game Freak, Nintendo, you know who to call. All right. I mean, we gonna forget you took my name for your console and not give me any money for it, but that's fine. That's fine. You want to be like that, okay? But come on now, Nintendo. I'm helping you out. Okay? Glistening Diamond, Shining Pearl. Come on. Come on, Nintendo. My God. Helping you. Give me my money. Give me my money. What's that one meme? I think it's one of the girls from Set It Off. She's like,
I want my money. I want my money now.
I gotta look that up. I got to. Oh man, I have to look that up. I have to do it. This is obligatory. This is obligatory. I want my money. Oh, I need that money. Copyright strike incoming.
Moi. And TT. TT? She ain't getting a cut.
I'm gonna try to skip
No,
it.
fuck that. She didn't do nothing to your shit. Now, if you want to kick my ass, then come on, let's just get it over with, because I am sick of your shit.
I'm so sick of it.
I need
Jada
that
Pinkett.
money. That money. I need that money.
Okay, one more time.
I need that money.
Oh God, I need that money. Oh, that killed me. Okay, one more time. One more time.
I need that money. Get it over with, because I am sick of your shit.
Oh, shit.
I need that money.
Oh my God. Oh man, I am. Oh, that is taking me out. That is taking me out. Okay, all right. I got my fix on my cheeks. I need that money. Oh my God, that's great. I think I saw that movie, but you know, it's like one of those movies you always see on a movie network. You watch it maybe like 20, 30 minutes, then switch to something else, or whoever was watching the TV was, or you know, you had it in as background noise. That will set it off for me. Pretty sure it doesn't end well. I would assume, if you know the plot, at least through transfusion, osmosis, whatever you call it. Okay, I know I'm sounding uneducated, but it's okay. Okay, back to. I love how we went from Pokemon. We went from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl to fucking Set It Off. Hey, you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Not even gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you up like that. So yeah, at least in terms of cadence. So Pearl, yeah, that was 06. So probably next would be Black and White. Maybe considering Black and White 2. Maybe they'll probably mix those together. So that's cool. I hear that's the one of the best Pokemon that a lot of people ran and raving about, which I've never touched. Games probably like sell for like $250 or some shit on eBay. I don't know. It just hurts. It just hurts so bad. Either way, pretty cool though. I think I hear Diamond and Pearl are pretty legit though. Outside of that, so cool. As somebody who has Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon and never barely played them, this is great. One of these days, I'm gonna catch. I'm gonna catch them all. All right. Y'all think I'm playing? Watch out. Call me Switch the Pokemon Master. Wait on it. Wait on it. Moving on, in somewhat weirdly kind of related news. You know that one Harry Potter game with that one horrible person that we won't talk about, who made the thing or made the IP more or less. It has been announced that Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed to 2022. So there you go. I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I used to be a pretty decent fan when I was a kid, you know, with all the books and stuff. But I ain't gonna lie to you to say I'm not interested at least in this. From the very like leaked, I guess we got a trailer for PS5 during a PS5 announcement, I think. So maybe it's not all bad, but you know, it's cool. You know, I maybe would have liked to swing my wand a little bit, see what I get. You know, Lagardium Lavosa on these hoes. I don't know. But I mean, for people that are really excited, here comes the depression train. Chee chee. Oh, forever. Love it. And that pretty much covers all the news for this week. But one thing I forgot to touch on last week is, as my ear got itchy. I'm looking right at it, but the words weren't coming out. Reset Era has a fantasy league, which I did join. We started this last year. I joined. My ass got beat to shit. And I guess I think it's a pretty cool topic to bring up in terms of recap of last year. So for those that may not know, fantasycritic.games, that is the site. Pretty dope site. Big shouts out to the creator of the site. He's great. Saw Easy Allies video where they basically, of course, they kind of what started the whole trend. Even though it's probably been going on for a minute, but at least media wise, they kind of popularized it. I'd say that's pretty safe to say. And watch that video of their new drafts for this year and kind of the new rules and additions they made and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, at least to recap from last year, in terms of my picks, the best publisher out there, Hidden Secret Games. I know you've heard of them. They're really great, very reputable, you know. So, at least the games I picked, Resident Evil 3, sitting at a nice 80 Metacritic, 10 points. Even though I was personally a little disappointed, it still somewhat showed up a little bit. Then Bayonetta 3, which we still have no clue on in 2021. Nothing, nada, did not release, no points. No More Heroes 3, probably one of my most anticipated games. I say even this year now that it's been because it's been unfortunately pushed back to this year, hopefully. So that did not release, which again means 0 points for my ass. Streets of Rage 4, I did believe in it, and thankfully it delivered. 84 Metacritic, 14 points. Also, if it's pretty much anything higher than 70, you get points. So that's kind of the limiter, if you will, where the basis to kind of measure and get points off. Anything higher, you get positive points. Anything lower than 70, negative points. Tom Clancy Splinter Cell 2020 did not come out. I wanted to believe. Overwatch 2, that felt like a pretty safe bet. Did not come out. Crossfire X, again, another title that was promised to be released. Did not come out. Deep Down, this I ain't gonna lie. This is like throwing from like the fucking 2 football fields way, and well, did not release. Deadly Premonition 2. This is where I kind of got a little personal. I think I wanted to believe that, especially considering the previous Deadly Premonition game that Swery made, that they would improve a lot. This was going to knock people's socks off, at least that were in a niche of the game. And boy, it did not. 61 Metacritic, therefore -9 points. Probably the biggest achievement personally for me, though, for last year was Demon Souls 2020. And man, that was the best call I ever made, best guess I ever made, because it was very in the dark if this game was actually gonna come out, if anything. So I took a chance. I'm like, hearing some of the rumors, I'm like, I think this might come out. And sure enough, along the release of the PS5, sure enough did. 92 Metacritic, 24 points. You love it. And I had some counter picks, which for those that may not know, counter picks basically work where if other people on the team have a certain game and you think, at least if you want to play smart, if you think it's probably not going to release that year or is going to review very badly, that is where you would counterpick a game. So at least those games I did counterpick was Horizon Forbidden West, which did not release, as well as Babylon's Fall, which did not release. I think I got that mixed up with, man, I don't even remember it now. What is that? Godfall. See, all these loose terms fall. Godfall, Babylon's Fall. I don't even know what that game is. I was thinking that was Godfall. Whatever. Either way, both did not release 0 points or any, so. And then that leads to my final points being 38, which is very, very depressing. I mean, on my side, I did do a lot of gambling, like Deep Down, Splinter Cell 2020, Demon Souls did pay off for me, but I did take a lot of shots in the dark, thinking and hoping that they would release, just because I betted on them that they would be more solidified for some reason, which sure as hell was not the case. So I lost. I was like, Out of technically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on the team. I came in sixth. So you know what? Sometimes the balls don't roll in your court, and then you just gotta dunk with them. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta do that. You know. So with that being in mind, let's move on to this year. This season of fantasy critic games. Show you my picks for this year. If I can find it myself, yeah. So, Hidden Secret Games is back, baby, for 2021. Here are my 5 picks. Elden Ring. Part of me thinks that maybe this possibly might not come out, especially with COVID, but at the same time, I think From Software definitely has a very reputable, consistent release cadence that I think will save it, and it actually come out probably fall of this year, I'm guessing. Maybe even spring if they do a surprise announcement, because it's been pretty much blackout for since the Game Awards in 2018. So I don't know. I think they could be well on their way to this being out pretty, at least by this year. So that's at least why I felt I had to get Elden Ring in there, and knowing how people are gonna love it. So that was my first pick. Partially wanted Resident Evil Village, but I was like, I don't know. I think at least like having my perspective as a fan of the third person games, I personally thought that maybe it would not be that good. Well, let me rephrase that. Not be outstanding compared to Elden Ring, at least how other people would perceive it. Personally, I know I will thoroughly enjoy it with the minor detraction of first person camera compared to third person, but you know. And then second, Back for Blood. I think this is gonna be like a undercover hit that a lot of zombie fans are gonna eat up, and I think critically it's gonna do pretty good because this is essentially Left 4 Dead 3 pretty much. So I think a lot of people are anticipating, waiting, wanting it, and I think it's gonna do good. So that's why I chose Back for Blood. And then I had to bring it back. No More Heroes 3. I really believe and hope at least this is gonna be one of the best No More Heroes games in the series. Hopefully. You never really know with Suda. I know personally I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy it, but I'm not sure of the general public how they will receive it. So we'll see. And then I had to give me a surefire consistent one, and that is Call of Duty 2021, whatever that is, which we don't know. I'm curious if maybe it could be Modern Warfare 2. I think maybe, I don't know. Either way, I felt that's a surefire hit. Call of Duty games sell like gangbusters every year. I think it's just a surefire hit, surefire bet. Next, I got Metroid Prime 4 because I think it's about time. This game been cooking in that oven for long enough. It's time, Metroid. Let yourself free. Let us all see you wear that dress. Skirt down the lane or whatever. So that is why I chose Metroid Prime 4. So those are my 5 games, at least to start everything up. A little discrepancy I have with our league, at least. I really feel like we should not have not remakes, but remasters. Cause I'm seeing somebody on our league picked up picked up Disco Elysium Director's Cut, which I feel is kind of cheating because it's like we already know the game is good. So what's the fun in that if you already know the game is good? It's like you basically just got a guaranteed spot where a lot of the thrill is in the unknown, which I think I'll discuss with the group, see what they how they feel about it. I doubt it. I think it's too late at this point, but oh well. I do got some initial bets I made. I did also I didn't learn from last year, so I am taking some shots in the dark as well. So we'll see. We'll see. But just thought I'd of course, because this is a gaming podcast, thought I'd just fill y'all in on that very nerdy aspect. Which is kind of funny when you think about it because this fantasy critic spawned from fantasy football, which is essentially spawned from video game or basically a way to gamify sports, which is kind of surreal when you think about it. But either way, I am thoroughly enjoying it. I think I'll at least try to do this every year if I can. Pretty fun as somebody I at least consider myself fairly knowledgeable in a lot of games. Most of the at least bigger, widely known games, if anything. But so yeah. So it's funny. While I was picking these games, I'm like thinking, man, are these what people think about football players and athletes in terms of fantasy sports? And I would assume so. Of course, I know the dynamics are slightly different in some takes, but whatever. For those that are curious, I believe for fantasycritic.games you can follow the league. We're sitting at a pretty respectable number of 1 followers. So if anybody's curious to see my progression within the league, how I rank up throughout the year, because those that may not know, basically how it works is that like we start off with 5 games. I think our limit, I know it depends on the league. Some leagues you can have it very high and whatnot. I have 5 games I can draft. So basically, more than likely the big events like at least what remnant of E3 or what equivalent there's going to be this summer, and I guess that's really the biggest part. And then of course the various little trinkets of new game announcements. Probably the Game Awards probably going to be a big one. Well, I guess that's kind of tough because the Game Awards generally towards the end of the year, so I guess that's probably not. But you know what I mean. You get little peppers of unexpected game announcements and stuff like that. So, yeah. So again, if you want to follow the league I'm competing in, which is called Era's Best League, if you go to fantasycritic.games, you can check out how I stack up throughout the year. Let's hope I don't blow all my load in one shot, which may happen again because I partially want it to happen realistically, but being unrealistic about it not happening. So there you go. And that pretty much will conclude. Well, I guess that's technically not news, but thought it was a worthwhile segment to include. My God, 3:20 a.m. Jesus, that is crazy. That's how late shit is getting recorded. But you know what? I want to get this over with for the week. So, let's talk about what I've been playing lately. Actually, surprisingly, I have been getting back into Modern Warfare and / Black Ops and the weird transfusion that's become. I mean, as hard to fathom as it is currently, generally it has been pretty good. With a couple of downsides, I think I want to say I mentioned before, but the biggest gripe, at least specifically for Xbox Series X, is there was a stealth update like way back in December or around when the Series X dropped, I think, where basically the game generally, depending on various factors, will frame rate wise run from 100 FPS to 120, or at least in that range, and it's more so the game, I'm pretty certain, because for some weird reason, I guess as a maybe result of that, it has this weird stuttering issue I've been experiencing, at least, where literally the game like will stutter like at certain frames, which it gets to the point where it's like distracting. I've been starting to play it to the point where now I'm starting to get used to it, but I think it's because at least lately I've been playing Warzone over traditional multiplayer for Modern Warfare. So I think because the map is huge, even though I know they use a different procedure in terms of programming that lets, what am I thinking of, that makes streaming the video easier, if that makes sense, but I don't know. I can at least say, like, when I'm playing Cold War, runs 120 FPS just fine, but when I play Modern Warfare, it just has a lot of stuttering. And even other games, like I think I mentioned previously before, Gears 5, Halo Master Chief Collection, that all got 120 FPS updates, that I think it's the game is the culprit. It's been like 2 months now, haven't heard not a peep about any attempt to resolve it at all. So that's kind of disappointing and annoying as well. But I will say, at least specifically on the Black Ops side, I have recently now started warming up to Black Ops. At least initially, after playing it for a bit, it just didn't really feel that great. But I don't know, maybe after being away a few patches and coming back, it feels a lot better to play. It felt like so. I potentially see myself at least getting all the main guns, maybe like the assault rifles, SMGs, at least maxing those out to use in Warzone, and maybe that's it. I don't know, but that is definitely an achievement for that game. Where at least I was previously very off put by it for some of the mechanics and just I guess realistically it not being Modern Warfare as well. So, but it has grown on me now. So, then after that, I've been playing that Monster Hunter Generations. No, not World, but Ultimate. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. That is the best Monster Hunter. Don't get it twisted. That's probably weird as hell, but I don't know, man. As somebody who's played Monster Hunter for a good while, it's something about Generations Ultimate, and I guess more loosely referring to the older Monster Hunter before World, that I feel like I miss, if that makes sense. Where it's like, I don't know, just the nuances, the difficulty, the kind of unforgiveness that's more pertinent in this compared to World in a fair amount of cases. Well, I mean, if you factor out the fucking Elatron with the fucking skill check aspect to him, but outside of that, I don't know. A part of me just was craving for some like classic Monster Hunter. You know what I mean? So that's what got me to start playing that again. Also, I know I talked about it last episode, but just to touch on it briefly, the weird immense desire to like be the best because of that one moment MagFest last year that for whatever weird reason is still burning me and bothering me. So part of me just like to try to rub that off and prove myself that I am worth it. I am capable. That I'm I'm hunting all these deviant monsters just to prove myself. Um, which is pretty funny for me personally, but because it's so like remedial, those dudes fucking forgot about me by now, and I'm like, I refuse to be in this situation again. Um, just thinking about it again is so funny. It's like literally being in a lobby of a Monster Hunter game, but in person. But I think what made it worse was just again all the build up to it. I like literally bought the game again, technically digitally, because I'm like, you know what, I actually plan on playing a lot of Monster Hunter. And then, and then after spending like what 2 hours or so downloading it, then being ready, I'm like, all right, all right, let's hunt. And then, yeah, you was 75, bro. We can't play with you. What? That's still funny to me, man. Oh man, I'm gonna prove my man. I reached one milestone. I am now hunter rank 100, or no, scratch that, 115 ish. So talk to me or say something nice. I don't know. So yeah. So pretty much yeah. Just grinding and hunting deviants to get that. Just to put that icing on the cake. To literally prove that I'm capable. Get that big ass crown next to my name. That's my next goal. All this work for just some crown next to your name. But you know what? It's worth it. Then of course, I guess subconsciously, Monster Hunter Rise, the demo dropped last week as well. Played a decent amount of it. I pretty much played all the weapons. Yeah, played all the weapons in the demo. At least like just to get a feel for them, see how different they are with the new wire bug system and stuff. I do have to say it is pretty impressive, especially considering it being developed for the Nintendo Switch. It does look pretty damn good for a Switch game. I do have to give it that, especially having the scale of Monster Hunter World for the most part. I mean, the worlds aren't like they aren't huge or anything like that, but take a sip. Hydrate yourself. That's the commercial. I just drank a big vat of water. Hydrate yourself. Um, lost my train of thought. That was some good water. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, in terms of the map scale, it definitely, for somebody who's never played the demo, I guess, the map is very Monster Hunter World E, but you do get some. It is much smaller compared to Monster Hunter World for I'm pretty sure evident reasons, but outside of that, it's legit, man. It's weird. It feels like you see a lot of what's the word, like aspects of Monster Hunter Ultimate in this one, which is cool, which I think may get me to, well, make it feel fresher than it is. So there's that. I mean, the demo felt pretty hard, at least from my play, but I think because I'm so used to having super high defense and high attack that that's more than likely why, because I'm playing with base weapons. But I mean, the mobility is pretty cool. Those new mobility options are pretty dope. There's a lot of potential to get real creative. I know some YouTubers gonna make some ridiculous video of him flipping 28 times, doing some X. Y. I don't know. I'm just shooting. I'm just shooting bullets, seeing if I shoot anybody. Shooting bullets, seeing if I shoot anybody. I guess one thing I'm slightly bummed out about, but again, I'm reserving further judgment until the full game comes out, which I know I'm just gonna play regardless. But um, it felt like at least the weapons I main mostly, which are generally, I guess, firstly the long sword and secondly the great sword. It seemed those weren't as beneficial with the wire bug implementation as other weapons, at least from dabbing around with a lot of them. It seemed like the dual swords like benefited a lot from the wire bug with like the advanced mobility and stuff, and um yeah, that's I guess that's the only thing I'm slightly disappointed in. But then again, I mean they could have left a fair amount of stuff out. Um, let alone like charms, armor charms and stuff. I know can like totally mix stuff up too. So we'll see. But at least initially playing a demo, that's at least some, at least if any negative impressions I had, where it felt like just the swords weren't really benefited enough from the wire bug implementation. But don't get me wrong, like the longsword has like a cool dope counter you can do. And it also another wire bug move is kind of like a mix between Monster Hunter World's longsword. Well, I guess mainly that really, but like a truncated version of Monster Hunter World's longsword, like attack where do the one special attack where he runs up on the monster and does a downward cut. Gotta enunciate that downward cut. So I don't know, but I will say, one weapon that's looking very enticing for sure. That I totally didn't have any radar on, and technically haven't really necessarily played any Monster Hunter with it. Was that motherfucking hunting horn, man? That boy looks so damn dope. Let me tell you. I mean, dude was like sliding, doing like break dancing while he playing that horn and shit, and then he making it look so flawless and dope. I mean, I don't know. I might come on Monster Hunter Rise. You might see a new main. You might see a new hunting horn main. And I think overall they just made the experience way more streamlined in terms of like I'm pretty sure the older Monster Hunter games you had to memorize very intricate combinations of notes to boost your team and yourself and stuff like that. But now all that is literally on the screen where you can actually see various moves, what each combination does, and they also streamline the combos where it's like just generally 2-button inputs. So overall, I don't know, that hunting horn is looking pretty nice. I have to say, I'm definitely gonna mess with it. I think at least from hearing, keeping my ear down in terms of the Monster Hunter community, it seems that's the biggest like revelation of this demo is that like hunting horn is the truth. Especially the damage it does, at least from the demo at least, and think outside of that, exponentially that damaging it might be other environments. I think it's a lot of potential there for sure. So we'll see, but I'm definitely digging it. I forgot the mountain mechanic. That actually is pretty dope. I do like the mountain mechanic in the game. It definitely has a lot of potential to have some pretty cool moments. Where for those that may not know, I think we explained it in the last episode, but you basically can literally, well, it's like a progression of mounting a monster where basically you can literally control the monster yourself and fight other monsters in various situations as well, which is pretty dope. So if you control it right, you can basically literally take control of the monster itself, which I think is something that like I think a lot of people never thought about and totally makes sense now. I mean, maybe it's a little weird with the wire bugs and how you can literally control a monster, but suspension of belief, especially for Monster Hunter, where there's a lot of very questionable aspects to the game. So, with all I'm talking about this game, clearly I'm gonna play it. You know, I'm gonna play it either way. Either way. Either way. But I do overall, at least from the demo specifically, I do love the additional mobility options. The encouragement of exploration, where it seems to be a lot of incentive for you to explore the environment more than other Monster Hunter games, where you're generally just like one track minded to fight with other monsters rather than explore the environment before doing so. Where it seems like there's like armor, defense upgrades, as well as health upgrades and boosts that will benefit you. But it's still unknown if like this will solely be the what am I thinking of? Solely the only method to increase your armor and health, which I doubt, but you never know. I don't see yourself always having to memorize a critical path to try and try to get all your health before facing a epic monster. That just doesn't make sense. So I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think it's just a little more incentive. Let's say you could probably get carded and lose your eating bonus or something. You can at least make something out of nothing, and then just run and get all your health boost and stamina boost and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I did like that at least attempt, at least initially seeing to encourage more exploration in the game. So but yeah, I think at least all in all, that pretty much is my demo impressions of Monster Hunter Rise. Looking forward to it, baby. March 26th, I think. Not too long. Not too long. I guess recently I was playing one of one of my friends had this itch to play some Overwatch. So I was like, you know what? It's been a minute. There's a lot of changes that have been happening. Let me go and see what this is about. And man, I totally forgot how fun Overwatch was. I guess, after playing it so long, especially in 2016 and 2017, and then kind of falling off subsequently years after. Really dope to kind of get back in Overwatch. Thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah, I mean, it's Overwatch. Mess with some of the new characters a little bit. Echo, she seems pretty cool. She's kind of like she's like the Saint Shang Tsung of Overwatch. It feels like, where she can literally copy any opposing character's ultimate or character, where she'll then perform an ultimate of that character, which is kind of pretty OP when you kind of think about it. But I don't know where she stands in terms of meta and the meta discussion and all that. I'm not too deep. My feet aren't too deep in Overwatch just yet, but just having a couple nightly sessions so far. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. 10 out of 10. We'll do it again. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing recently. Let's go into what I've been watching, and of course, Attack on Titan. They were playing with our balls first, where they I guess there was some delay in the episode premiere, and I'm not sure what happened with that, but either way, episode finally came out, and man, you know what? I think it's worthy to get spoilery. You know what? I'm a spoil without spoiling. I'm gonna try. Please bear with me. Again, if you are sensitive to spoilers of Attack on Titan, this is your chance. Yeah, man. I guess the biggest take back from this episode is revenge, payback, turning tables. But yeah, that's probably the biggest ones. But It's something very fulfilling yet concerning that like how do you say it? It's kind of like perception, where I think a big discussion in terms of Walking Dead specifically, with the whole Negan and Saviors versus Rick and his crew, that like if we started the show from Negan's perspective, we more than likely would side with him. Um, where they did somewhat explore that a little bit, where they were, you know, making the main characters of The Walking Dead seem very like our what we're not any better than them type of angle, where they kind of played that. That's definitely vibes I got from this, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. It's like, of course, but it's like at the same time, fuck them up, Aaron. So that's literally where I was like, I don't care, fuck them up. They fucked you up, fuck them up. So that's kind of at least where I'm at with the show. I feel like they're trying to form some empathy and try to make you sympathize with the, I guess, technically perceived enemies. But it's like, fuck them up, Aaron. I mean, just fuck them up. I'm pretty sure it's way more intricate, probably more deep in the manga and stuff, but that feels like it's a whole nother agenda to try to accomplish. But I digress. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Cannot wait for next episode. All I know, somebody getting fucked up. Somebody getting fucked up. So yeah. Outside of that, that's pretty much all I've been up to. Alright? Damn. So yeah, I think that'll conclude episode 87 of Switches Sites. The Midnight Hour. Nope, I said it wrong. The Midnight Hour edition. I've got to do it. Midnight Hour edition. And I really need to formulate like specifically the cadence of the spiel. Yeah, if you did like the podcast, whether you're watching from your favorite podcasting platform, iTunes, Spotify, Google Music, or I think it's Google Podcasts now, or did they switch back to Google Music? Google Music. Podbean? Does anybody use that? I mean, I think I'm on there too, so I mean, there's no excuse. YouTube, if you're the type that likes to just pop up the video, but maybe just listen specifically, maybe shift to another tab. I don't blame you. I won't guilt trip you. Hey, you're gonna get this voice either way. Yeah, feel free to like, rate, subscribe on those platforms. Any feedback is greatly appreciated as well, good or bad. You can also catch this podcast being recorded live on Twitch TV/aswitch, which I generally like to record at around 4 to 5 p.m. ish on Thursdays, but of course, the lovely demands of my job, I totally fucked those plans up, of course. So that is why you have a late night episode today, or early, I guess, depending on where you are. That's life. You either gonna roll with the punches and fall, or kick somebody in the head and get your ass up. That doesn't really make sense, but you get the idea. You can also catch archives of this podcast as well on video form at youtube.com/aswitch, where I do upload every week these episodes also. So, yeah. So, I think do it every time. They do it every time. That is going to conclude the show for this week. yeah, pretty good week. Well, outside of the politics and whatnot, which I'm at the point where it's irritating. So I'm not gonna talk about it again, like I said before. But yeah, guys. Of course, always thanks for watching or listening listening. Always greatly appreciated. Yeah, till next time, guys. Don't cough. Don't touch people that don't want to be touched. Get your game on. Oh yeah. Nobody's safe.